Hello and howdy, everyone. Last night I watched the Blu-ray of Rubber. It was quite interesting. This is the debut film from, not entirely sure how to say his name, Quentin Dupieux. I have no idea how to say his last name. It's very complicated. I think it's French, but so my gut says to say Dupois or Dupuy, something like that. It's an interesting film. I've been wanting to see it for some time. It had a very limited theatrical release in Los Angeles, where I live, for like a couple, weeks, maybe 1 week. I just remember that I kept hearing about this movie that was about a tire that killed people. So I was like, ooh. But I never got to see it in the theater, and then Blockbuster, where I rent my movies, has never carried it in the actual store for some reason. But I found this on Blockbuster. Well, whenever you can't find something in the store, they always tell you to go to their website, blockbuster.com, and reserve it there. They have everything there, which they don't have everything there. But they did have Rubber, and so I put it on my queue, and it had a forever wait. So I was like, okay, I'm apparently not meant to see Rubber right now. So some time went by, and I kind of forgot about it. Again, I never had a reminder, seeing as I never saw it in the store. But Quentin Dupieux's new film, Wrong, had just come out, and I was like, kind of the same situation. It was only on one screen for 1 week here in Los Angeles. I'm not entirely sure what Wrong is about, but I had read that it was interesting, weird, challenging, if anything. So I was like, well, I'd like to see that, but I wouldn't get the chance to see it. So I focused on Rubber again. I was like, well, maybe I can finally see his first film. And so sure enough, I went to my blockbuster.com, and Rubber was on available, so I got it, immediately. So finally, after what, I guess a couple years wait, or maybe just a year, I finally got to see Rubber. And I'm definitely glad I did. It's very unique. I think it's a, startling debut from an interesting voice in film. I'm going to give the film a 6 overall. I mean, it didn't blow me away, but again, I thought it was very uncompromising. I thought it was unique. I was about to say different, but unique covered that. It's about a... that's kind of complicated. In a nutshell, it's about a tire that has psychokinetic energy that, or ability that can destroy things, can affect things, in its immediate path, path. And that's pretty much what it is. A tire rolling around and blowing people's heads up is basically. There's some more stuff going on, some stuff that is only hinted at, really. I'll put it this way, you, the viewer, are not the only one watching the movie. I don't really know what else to say other than that, because I feel that to detail that would kind of ruin the experience, because it's certainly the most interesting aspect of the film. The film looked really good. All the special effects were fine. Good score. Quentin Dupieux, I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm having to say it enough. Did everything for this film. He wrote it. He directed it. He was a producer on it. He shot it himself. He edited it. So this is his movie. He was lucky enough to find, someone. I noticed that there was only one other producer. So he did find someone to give him a lot of money and to stay out of his way, who believed in his vision. And I think that's, outstanding. And that's really the highlight of this film, is just that a movie like it can be made and produced and get out there to the general public eventually. Just because, again, it's so different. I couldn't tell you any of the names of the actors. Three were familiar. There were two what I will call geeks as a part of the Observer group. I will call it the Spectators, I believe is what they were called. Those two geeks, I recognize, one from the TV show Community, the other just from, I think, mostly commercials. And then the man in the wheelchair, I believe, is Rutger Hauer's little brother. I'm not sure. I'm almost positive that it's Rutger Hauer's brother. I've seen him occasionally, but he's just more of a recognizable face. So those are the only actors I really recognized. All the acting is good. It doesn't have to, it's fine. No actor is really required to do any strenuous lifting. But it's an experimental film, and I don't think that the focus is on the acting by any means. The writing here is definitely what's most experimental about it. The film opens up with a monologue on no reason, and I tried to watch the film like that. That there's no reason, because again there's outlandish things that happen in this film. Again, this is about a tire, an inanimate object, rolling around the desert and encountering people and killing them, with psychokinetic energy, like killing entire towns of people. So they, I kept on telling myself, as soon as my brain would say, well, why is this happening, or how is this happening, I would immediately answer, well, there's no reason, there's no reason behind it. And I think that's meant to be like an obvious choice, yes, there's no reason for this to be happening, but I also think that that's meant to kind of distract you a little bit, maybe not. Maybe I played right into the trick, and maybe I was trying to think of a reason for it when there is, in fact, no reason. Because, again, there are a lot of things in this film that happen for apparently no reason. And I try not to hold that against it. I definitely wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about this world. I felt that, we were only getting a glimpse into it. It felt like a big tease, people apparently willingly commit suicide. They talk on the phone to, something they refer to as their master, which maybe I kind of felt was the tire itself. I don't know, so I kept on going back to that there's just no reason. I thought it moved pretty quickly. It was, about an 80-minute film. I love 80-minute films. It went by, pretty smoothly. I'd say the second act was by far the best piece of filmmaking. It was... For the first act, I was like, okay, I get it, a little, I get it. What else is going to happen? But then the second act does kick in, and they twist, and it just flies by. And then again, with the third act, it just kind of slows down again. It kept me on, I guess, kind of a roller coaster. I just wish that it had more of a ramped up ending somehow. I really enjoyed the experience. I didn't love it. I would recommend it to people who enjoy, again, experimental, uncompromising pieces of art. any fans of horror films, if you're a fan of watching people's heads explode violently, then you're going to like this film. You'll at least find something interesting about it. All the credit goes to it being such a strong debut. I just felt that I wanted to know more, and that it was just ever so slightly monotonous, but there was definitely some clever stuff going on. It just played on genre and film conventionalities. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I'm glad I saw it eventually. I think a 6 is fair. I think if I gave it a 7, then, it's just too high just because I don't really have a desire to see it again. And that's the break-off point for me. Is a 7 is a movie that I want to see again in the near future. And I don't really feel a desire to see this again in the near future. But it does make me very interested to see his second film, Wrong. I think it's an interesting debut. I think Quentin Dupieux is an interesting voice. He's one to watch. So again, it's a strong debut. So I think that's that gets most of my credit. The fact that it's an uncompromising piece of art, and that it's a director's first feature-length film, and I think that that's impressive. And to do something so unique right out of the gate is impressive. I don't know what else to say really about it, but there you go. There's Rubber. Finally got to see it, and I'm giving it a solid 6. Thank you very much.